Honestly, if there was ever one muscle that people needed to build more strength with, it's going to be the glutes. And look, here you are. Okay, so we're going to start with this one, lying down. Oh, I love it. And we're going to have those knees slightly bent. And from here, we're going to take this into clams, but clams like you've not seen them before. The leg's going to hover off the ground. We're going to tap that foot down, tap the knee down. So let's get going. The hips are going to stay stacked over one another. Everything else is going to be nice and relaxed. Apart from, if you want to, you can really get some engagement through the core. So you can place the hands down in front of you and think about breathing out and drawing in those lower abdominals. So it actually doesn't really matter with this one whether you're breathing in or whether you're breathing out in a certain bit. Generally speaking, as a rule, you are going to exhale on the effort part of it, so the bit you find hardest. Now with this, the slower you take it, the more control you are going to need. So if you're the kind of person that's like speeding it up, that's all very well, but then you're not accessing the muscles that give you the best control, and control also can help lead to stability. So it's not all just about strength. Are you ready? We're going to go from this side. Make sure those hips are stacked over one another, and let's tap down that knee and then the heel. So make these movements really precise. This also helps you build up proprioception. So proprioception is the ability to kind of know where your body is in space. And if you're doing this quite fast, you don't necessarily, your body doesn't need as much proprioceptive skill because it's quite a fast movement. Whereas the more you slow it down, the more your body kind of has to readjust and stabilize. That's it. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure you're breathing. That is it. Try not to hold your breath. You should really feel this now. Working through the legs. The glutes will also be activating. So if you're not feeling them just yet, just send that presence to the bum muscles, and you can also get a little bit of engagement in there. From here, we're going to come up onto all fours, and we're going to take one leg out to the side. We're going to push the ground away, and we're going to lift that leg up. Are you ready? I won't lie, this is quite a killer. Push the ground away, engage those abdominal muscles, the legs coming out to 90 degrees, and we're just going to lift up and down. So with this, if you push the ground away, you're going to really feel like you have got a much more stable base. Whereas if here is a little bit rocky, then this will actually be a lot harder because your base isn't stable to push against. So push everything away, take things up again with control. You'll also notice that even though it's this leg that is doing all the movement, that supporting leg is going to be the one that's also working. Push the ground away. Engage through those stomach muscles, make sure you're breathing. Please do not hold your breath. Last couple of seconds, and have a little bit of a wriggle. Take it over to the other side. Don't forget in these little breaks just to have a bit of a relax. Okay, we're going to prep. The leg is going to come out towards the side. Oh, it actually feels like a really nice stretch. And let's go. Now, if you're feeling like your leg is just too heavy and you can't lift your leg off the ground, bend it so that you've got it at a right angle. So this is what it looks like. If this feels like you can manage it quite easily, then why don't you half bend or half straighten that leg. Find something that works for you. Push the ground away. Keep everything really nice and solid. You can touch that toe onto the ground. If you're going to sync your breathing, breathe out as that leg comes up. And we've got last 3, 2, and 1. Right, let's come onto the side. We're going to take this into a side plank. So we're going to stay on our elbows, but we're going to have one foot out in front of the other. We generally find that the top foot in front is a lot better, both feet facing forwards. I'm going to push those hips forward, squeeze through the glutes to take it into this full plank, but on the elbows. Now, with this, you might notice that the thing that might be the most painful is through the elbow area. If that's the case, I want you to help support everything by really engaging through these side stomach muscles and then also squeezing through the glutes. You might also want to kind of feel like you're squeezing those thighs together as well. And even though that's not released any of the pressure through the shoulders, what it does do is it just helps distribute the tension between your body. If you need to, come down, reset, come all the way up. Last couple of breaths. Good. Keep squeezing, especially think about engaging through those glutes, through the legs, and just come down. So we've got this over on the other side as well. Aren't you lucky? Get into position, steel yourself, take a couple of breaths. I know you can do this. Get your foot position, get the elbow position, and let's go. Come all the way up into this position. Again, think about creating tension, so push the ground away with the elbows. Think about squeezing through the glutes and squeeze the thighs together as well. And just breathe. So this is great because we're also working through a bit of shoulder strength and stability. You've got these muscles closest to the ground that are working. If we're trying to squeeze those inner thighs together, they're also going to be working. And of course, the glutes. Keep engaging through those glutes. It's amazing how much more intense you can make an exercise just by engaging other muscles. Ah, isn't this lovely? It's like a holiday. And we've got last 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. So we're going to come down now into a front plank. We're going to do this on the elbows. So we're going to lie down, tuck those toes under. You're going to engage with those stomach muscles. So you're going to push the elbows away, engage with those stomach muscles, and lift that bum up off the ground. So we're going to stay in this position. And then as we do so, once we've found our position, you're just going to drop the hips ever so slightly. And then I want you to squeeze through the glutes and lift up ever so slightly. You can squeeze your thighs together as well. Try and keep those stomach muscles always engaged. Make sure you're breathing. If you've got a diastasis or you feel like you can't engage with those stomach muscles, just drop the knees to the ground and really focus on engaging those glutes, especially as you lift up. Small movement. Good. This just intensifies it a little bit more through the core. And we are done. Huzzah! So, last exercise, we're going to come onto our back and we're going to take it into our standard glute bridge. Are you ready? So this is the last minute that we have for this. I want you to squeeze that bum first before you push through those heels and come up. So I want you to keep squeezing the whole way through for this minute. Keep squeezing, keep squeezing. As you're doing this, try to keep some tension between those knees. Sometimes our knees come out to the side, and we just want to try and get our knees in line with our hips. If you do feel any tension on those knees, then you can take them out a couple of inches ever so slightly. Squeeze through those glutes though. Push the ground away, make sure you're breathing, keep squeezing through those bum muscles. Often what we find is that people can do this without optimally using their bum muscles. They just use their leg muscles. So really feel like you're squeezing as hard as you've ever squeezed before. Just make sure you're breathing. And come all the way down. Now, I told you the glute bridge was the last exercise, and that is correct. But there is one more version of the glute bridge we are going to do. So again, in this position, squeeze those bum muscles before you lift up. And from here, we're just going to release the bum muscles and engage. And I want you to really focus on releasing the bum muscles just a little bit and then engaging. Because sometimes what we do is we come down and this movement is sort of done by the body rather than the releasing of the glute bridge, of the bum muscles, and then the contraction again. So can you see the difference between releasing and engaging? And if I've still got them squeezed and it's just a bit like this thing that's going on, a bit like Mr. Bean dancing, but in a glute bridge. Good, so really feel like you're releasing. Now just try and release one bum muscle and squeeze it. Release the other bum muscle and squeeze it. So this is great just for bringing back some of that additional mind-body connection. Hope your bum is feeling good.